All right. Hi, how you doing, everybody? My name's Bill Hoy, and back again with another video on my YouTube channel, What in the World's Going On 1. Here we are to talk today about order followers. And I just want to go to my last video. Folks, if you're ever questioning something that's said on one of my videos, of course you should always look it up for yourself. But many times on my next video I'll do some clarifications, and I'm going to do some clarifications now about my natural law videos. I just want to say that I'm pretty sure from what I've researched that the concepts of natural law, the immutable and alienable birthrights endowed by creation, was first brought to the world on a mass scale by the founding fathers. There was also, at least from what I read in History of the World in Our Time by Carroll Quigley, Tragedy and Hope, History of the World in Our Time. Carroll Quigley, I strongly suggest you read that book. And I strongly suggest you also look at Carroll Quigley's interviews. You really want to learn something about what's going on in this world? Check out Carroll Quigley. There's a lot to be said about him too, but I don't want to go too deeply into that right now. The Slavs, I would say, what were the Slavs? I guess like Croatia and stuff like that. The Slavs, S-L-A-V-S, the Slavic region of Eastern Europe there. I think it's like Croatia and stuff like that. The Slavs of 1000 to 1100 lived in a stateless society, and it was because the majority of people in their society believed that the state was immoral and the individual was moral. That's how that manifested, just like with natural law. How does natural law get manifested? With our behaviors. And that's how their stateless society manifested, because they believed, once again, that the state was immoral and the individual is moral. And of course, I also want to talk about, just mention, I've done a little research into the Bavarian Illuminati, which also, I think, started meeting, like had an official meeting in 1776. That was in Germany, I think. Bavaria. Yeah, Bavaria, right? Yeah, Germany. And they were wanted men. They, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, but they were the royals of the day, the rulers of the day, the kings of the day wanted them hung, I'm pretty sure. So there was another group of the Bavarian Illuminati that was wanting to spread natural law and wanting to infiltrate these societies and spread these views of natural law. I'm pretty sure. I just wanted to mention that. Once again, I haven't done extensive studies into the Bavarian Illuminati, so I can't really say. But and also, one more correction. I was talking about the club at Yale University, Skull and Bones, and I said one of the members was Jim Carrey, and it was not. It's not Jim Carrey. It was, it's John Kerry, the Democrat politician who ran for president in 2004 against his fellow Bonesman. Bonesman versus a Bonesman in 2004 election. How about that? Talk about frightening. Once again, look, I just want to mention one thing about secret societies. I mean, it's okay if you want to have a little secret club or something like that, but when people are plotting and planning, to engage in horrendous violence against people, and also having information that they're hiding and keeping for themselves that's harming other people, it's wrong. And it's evil. So let's go into what we're going to talk about. You want to talk about evil? You want to talk about evil? Blind order following, folks. Order followers. That's evil. Order following, blind order following, total evil. And I want to mention a great book to get deep into this superstition that these order followers have. It's a superstition. It's a belief. That's all it is. You know, the belief in human rulership is a superstition. It's a belief. And the name the name of the book is The Most Dangerous Superstition, and the author is Larken Rose. I should have grabbed it. Next video I'll grab it and I'll show it to you. But maybe I'll read a couple excerpts from it. That'd be a great idea. That's what I'm going to do. I'll read a couple excerpts from it, I think, and we'll look into that book, because that's you want to really get deep inside the whole superstition and belief system of the belief in human rulership, government, kingship, order following. That's the book, man. That's the book. Larken Rose, the author, Most Dangerous Superstition. That's the book, folks. Read that. Got to get it. So, order followers. What do I have here? I guess, I don't know why I wrote this, but I guess I want to mention I'm from the United States. So, I'm from the United States. And we'll get started right here. Obedience is not a virtue. Well, that's what many of us are taught as children. That's what I was taught. Shoulders bother me today. Obedience is not a virtue. Teaching children blind obedience stunts a child's psychological growth. Look up Sigmund Freud's. I have that in a book. Maybe I should get that too. I'm a little unprepared for this here today. I thought I was prepared. Not really too prepared. Teaching children, once again I said this, teaching children blind obedience stunts a child's psychological growth. And that's from Sigmund Freud. Look up that. The logic of obedience as a virtue is to obey is good and to disobey is bad. That's what kids are basically being taught. And that's what a lot of this salvationism teaches too. This salvationism, obedience to God and all that stuff. It's obedience, obey, obey, obey. That's what that is. When little kids obey, they're good, and when little kids disobey, they're bad. And that absolutely stunts a child's psychological and emotional growth, not to mention putting them in a state of fear. Putting them in a state of fear and trauma. And that's what order following is. We're going to get very deep into order following today, folks. We're going to go deep into order following and talk about just the underlying unconscious thoughts and what's going on in these individuals' minds. It's really it's a psychosis, man. I mean, this is a psychosis, and I think I wrote this down here. Let's see. I thought I wrote this down. Yeah, I did write it down. So I used to be an order follower. And boy, did I hate myself. And there it is. Order followers are self-loathing beings in fear, existing in fear. That's what order following is. It's fear. They hate themselves so much, and they're so afraid and fearful that they need this outside superstition in order to give them a sense of security and control. This is really bad stuff, man. This order following is really bad stuff. This obedience is a virtue. It's just bad stuff. The responsibility for an action, a behavior, always falls on the order follower, not the order giver. That's another thing. People make excuses for these order followers. Oh, they're just doing their job, or we're going to get into the psychology of the order followers, where they say, I just enforce the laws. I don't make them. That's some really insane stuff. Really insane stuff. Here we go. How are we doing on time? We're doing good. Let's see up there. During the start of the Iraq War, the second one, the 2003 one, the media pumped out. There was a lot of media pumping out a piece of propaganda that I didn't, I was still asleep then. I didn't really pick up on it. It was, don't support the war, support the troops. And I mean, that, folks, is just completely idiotic, and it's sad that that actually went right over my head. It's sad that how stupid I used to be. Folks, let me tell you something. When I call people stupid, or when I say that people are I don't know, most of all my criticisms of people, I used to be myself. So let me just make that very clear. So don't support the war, support the troops. Well, there's only one problem with that ideology, folks, with that belief, is the troops are the war, folks. No troops, no war. You know, it wasn't George Bush and Dick Cheney going over to Iraq with a rucksack on their back and a K-pot on their head with their rifles, shooting at Saddam Hussein, and Saddam Hussein shooting back. No troops, no war. Both sides of a war need troops. Without troops, there's no war. No troops, no war, folks. Get it into your heads. And here's, here's how we take care of our troops. Natural law consequences for order followers are death. Right during the event, the war, they could get killed in the war. And then there's suicide, both while they're in the military and while they're out. 22 veterans a day are committing suicide, and that's what I meant there by that little, this is how we take care of our troops. 22 veterans a day are committing suicide. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. I mean, all these people who claim they care, you won't hear one word out of their mouths about we should stop these wars. Most of them. The people that get the mainstream attention, you don't ever hear them talking at all about maybe we should stop these wars. That's how we can stop these suicides. Put a big dent in them right away, for starters. And spiritual destruction. I mean, that's what the natural law consequences for these order followers are. And their consequences can come to them in the physical world, can come to them in both physical and spiritual world. In the world of the soul, when the soul leaves the body, it's they're the ones that take the brunt of it. And the military is a death cult. The military is a death cult, folks. It's a death cult. When I was in the military, when we were doing our cadences, I mean, we weren't always, let me just start by saying, we weren't chanting Constitution, Constitution, freedom, freedom, democracy, democracy. We weren't chanting First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, for give me more, more, more. We weren't chanting any of that stuff. We were mainly chanting kill, 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 one shot, one kill, 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 kill. I was in the infantry. That's what we were chanting, and of course there were other stupid ones about getting stupid drunk and all the dumb shit that they had us saying. But I can tell you this: never were we chanting Constitution, Constitution. Never were we chanting First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, 4. Never were we chanting freedom, freedom. We weren't chanting none of that stuff. In fact, I barely ever even heard any mentions of the Constitution or First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth, freedom, all that stuff. Not a word of it, because the military is a death cult, folks. Militaries are killing machines. Militaries are murder machines. That's what militaries do. They kill people. That's what militaries are for. Militaries are for killing, period, end of story. I don't want to hear about all these wonderful soft stories about the military and how some soldiers did some good things. The military is a killing machine. Any person involved with the military is a part of a killing organization, whether they're actually killing people or not. And what they're doing is wrong. And the answer is to quit the military and also to not join the military. That's the answer, folks. No more military. Don't need it. I'm gonna cut out now. I'll try to keep these videos to 15 minutes because I don't know exactly why. I guess because I'm not sure if my computer, the technology I have can handle it, or if people actually watch it. But all right, we'll cut out next video.